Ladies and gentlemen, there are conversations and then there are conversations. The kind where you sit at a coffee shop with a friend and before you know it, the bill is 80 rand. And then there is the kind where you sit in a fancy convention center, nodding politely, sipping overpriced water, and before you know it, the bill is 700 million rands. Yes, 700 million rands for what's being called the national dialogue. And I know what you're thinking. What on earth are they serving at this event? Gold-coated muffins? Now, for our international friends, let's translate. That's about 37 million US dollars, 34 million euros, or in Zimbabwean currency, well, let's just say you'd need a wheelbarrow. And what's this fortune for? A 3-day talk shop where politicians, dignitaries, and the occasional citizen representative gather to discuss the country's future. Not to actually fix the country's problems, just to talk about them. And then the craziest part, they are selling it to us as if it's a discount deal. Close to 1 billion rands. Okay, let's get it straight. On paper, it's all noble. A citizen-driven gathering to map out South Africa's next 30 years. In practice, it's a masterclass in budget bloating. You don't just rent a community hall for 50,000 rands. No, you hire a luxury convention center for 500,000. And what do you know? The venue's owner is someone's business associate. Catering? Forget sandwiches and water. We are talking 400 rand per plate. $2 million in total from a catering company that, surprise, is owned by a politically connected family. Flights, an economy ticket from Johannesburg to Cape Town could be 1,500 rands. At this event, it's 15,000 for last-minute business class. Multiply that by hundreds of attendees and suddenly you have spent millions just moving people around. And then we reach the real jacket, the consultants. You hire a firm for 15 million rands to coordinate logistics. They outsource the work for 3 million rands, pocket the rest as management fees. Perfectly legal on paper, utterly wasteful in reality. And just in case that's not enough, you sprinkle in some ghost projects, workshops that exist only in invoices, community engagement tours that never happen. On paper, they are done. In reality, the chairs are empty. This is the part where the money trail stops looking like an accounting ledger and starts looking like a family tree. Cousins, friends, old comrades, donors, all finding their way to the buffet table before the dialogue even begins. And here is where things get political. Thabo Mbeki, the former president, took one look at this and walked away. And when a political veteran like Mbeki publicly says, "I will not be part of this," it's not just a statement, it's a signal to discontented ANC members that there is blood in the water. Because in ANC politics, elders don't speak unless they mean to stir things. Now, this wasn't just criticism of an event. It was a challenge to Cyril Ramaphosa's leadership. And in the ANC, that's like calling the referee blind during the match. Everyone notices. Mbeki basically handed Ramaphosa's opponents a gift-wrapped line. If we can't trust him with a dialogue budget, how can we trust him with the national budget? If this sounds familiar, it's because it is. South Africa has a long history of expensive nothingness. Remember the 2010 World Cup stadiums? Built for billions. Now, some of them host more wins than matches. Kala's Firepool? sold to us as a security feature when in reality it was just a fancy swimming pool with better PR. The COVID PPE procurement scandal? Millions spent on gloves and masks that expired before they reached the hospitals. It's not just South Africa. Nigeria's national conferences spend billions of naira to produce 500-page reports nobody reads. Zimbabwe's Vision 2030 consultations became a travel allowance bonanza. In Kenya, task forces have drained millions only to hand in recommendations that gathered dust. And the US is not spared either. The Pentagon famously lost trillions in administrative costs. Different flags, same trick, same public money, repeat in a noble language and make it disappear. Here is how you know the scandal is real. The spin machine will roar to life. The same words will start appearing everywhere. Historic, unprecedented, nation building. TV anchors will repeat them. Newspapers will splash them. Paid social media influencers will echo them. The goal? Make you feel proud instead of angry. And if that doesn't work, they will play the budget shuffle card. We didn't spend all 700 million this year, carefully forgetting to mention that the rest is logged in for phase 2. Add a few token gestures, bursaries for a handful of students, a photo op with smiling youths, maybe a tree planting ceremony, and the PR package is complete. But here's the problem. Ordinary South Africans aren't falling for it. A taxi driver will tell you 700 million rands could fix half the potholes on his route. A nurse in the Eastern Cape will say it could stock her clinic with medicine for years. A township youth will tell you it could fund thousands of startup businesses. The number is so simple, so outrageous that it sticks. In South Africa's political memory, numbers matter. Nkandla's 246 million rands still haunts the ANC. Now, 700 million for talking is entering the lexicon. Short, sharp, and politically lethal. Forget about Nkandla. Inside the ANC, it becomes a factional weapon. Ramaphosa's allies scramble to defend him, painting Mbeki as out of touch or anti-progress. His critics quietly whisper in meetings, if he can waste this much here, what else is he wasting? The EFF will roar about starving children, the DA will hammer transparency, smaller parties will throw in what could have been calculations, how many houses, schools, or clinics this money could have built. Here is the genius or the disaster, depending on your view. Ramaphosa is trapped. Cancel the event and he looks weak. Go ahead with it and he looks corrupt or disconnected. Whoever advised him to defend a 700 million rand talk shop deserves a gold medal from the ZANU-PF School of Political Self-Sabotage. Because by the time the first microphone is plugged in, most of that money will already be spent. The speeches, just the public show. The real deals, signed months ago in quiet boardrooms and encrypted WhatsApp groups. And after the applause dies down, South Africa will be exactly where it was before. Load shedding still here. Service delivery still broken. Corruption cases still dragging on, but the bank accounts of a few lucky insiders noticeably healthier. And that's the real national dialogue. Not the speeches, not the unity slogans, but the quiet conversations in the corridors about who gets what slice of the pie. Ladies and gentlemen, so the next time you hear the words historic dialogue, remember in South African politics, dialogue often means invoice, and this one is a big one, 700 million big.